Welcome to Security Insights with Arvind Dhillon, your bi-weekly deep dive into security strategies, innovations, and leadership skills in the security industry. I'm your host, Arvind Dhillon, and today we're going to talk about how the industry has changed in the last 20 years and which direction it's headed, how it will affect the security industry in a whole, and for our business, Covert Security. Today, Tuche is mic'd up, and we are going to take a deep dive into how this industry is evolving.
Hi everyone, this is Tuche. I'm excited to be here and discuss the security industry change in the last 20 years with Arvind today.
So whether you're a security business owner, professional, or someone that's generally interested in security insight, please follow along and enjoy the ride. 2005, when we started, the industry was going through a big change. It was going from analog to digital. Instead of changing the VHS tapes on VCR, it was going into DVRs. That was the starting of a new era. AI was not even in any sight back then. All the security was man-powered heavy, not and tech light. Nowadays, the future security is tech heavy, manpower light. So when we first started doing installs for cameras in big warehouses, all the managers and the staff was really happy to see that they don't have to go in and change the VHS tapes every 8 hours or every 4 hours, depending upon how big the warehouse was. And we were still installing digital cameras, but with the analog wires. So we would have a coax wire that we would install. So it wasn't fully digitized 100%, but it was the turning point to that industry.
You touch base to the landscape of the security industry, how it looked like when you started back in 2005 in more like operation base. But we actually want to start with a different direction, specifically from the compliance part. So what about in BC, where the laws and regulation differ? Was it easier or harder to remain in compliance back then?
Yes, back then the compliance wasn't that much per se, but it was there. We still had to go do our basic security checks, but there wasn't that much of oversight. Anybody could do anything. Mostly it was the security guards that were scrutinized at that time, not so much the alarm installers, locksmiths, or camera installers. Over the years, they have tightened the rules. So alarm installers, locksmiths, private investigators, they all need to be licensed from British Columbia. It's called securities. I forgot the name. I should look it up.
That's totally fine. Actually, you kind of touch over there to other companies. That was what I was going to come from there that you are mentioning. So if this is the scenario you're saying back then, it wasn't that much overseen, and now it's a lot more restricted in BC. So over these years, how did it affect your competitions, or not maybe directly competition, but maybe indirect competitions? Has the industry grown or shrunk over the years? Does the regulations make the people or companies like shut down?
I wouldn't say shut down the companies, but definitely some companies are facing a lot bigger fines, which was unheard of, I would say, even till mid 2010s, when the Solicitor General took over the security division. That's when the bigger fines came into effect, bigger regulation came into effect, and more training per se. There is a lot more training hours that you have to put in nowadays to get your licensing done, and there's a different levels of licensing.
So maybe the other competitors by then that you had, not all of them made it to today.
No, 100% they did not, because as the compliance gets stricter, the companies, small companies especially, they don't have enough manpower, they don't have enough tools to get through all the paperwork, right? So they prefer to become more of a subcontractor. They will subcontractor for small companies like us.
Now think of that compared to the demands. Is there more demand now as opposed to the when you started?
More demand, much more demand in the industry now because the world is changing, the compliance is changing, the regulations are changing. Um, Back in the day, also people didn't think of security as that necessary back then. It was nowadays it's actually a lot more mandatory from all different levels of government. Uh, People need it. People need a peace of mind, and it's becoming more of an investment that rather than just de-risking it.
How about if we already touched base previously on the residential commercial, but you mentioned that from the government laws there is more demand regarding to these laws, but this is goes as well for residential.
Yes, 100% back in residential, and only big homes had a alarm system or a camera surveillance, and it was just not a popular thing to do. Nowadays, almost every single family house or a duplex has some aspect of a security built into it.
So scarcity in the regular residential living in streets or any crime data increased much more than now.
Not only that, and it's also becoming more affordable as well. Back in the day, it was just not that affordable, and the quality wasn't even there either. Now with the DIY projects, sort of everybody has some sort of a security available at their fingertips.
By then, the 2005, was it any availability in the DIY projects in the cameras?
No, I don't think there was any available back then. I would say probably 2010 onwards, there was some cameras that you could buy, or some sort of alarm system you could buy and install it yourself. But no, back in the day, it was not a popular thing to do.
You see, while we are back in that days, so what were the main security concerns for clients when Cohort was founded? What was the main reasons they were reaching to Cohort for this service?
At that time, the mostly was to protect theft. It wasn't it was external theft that people were worried about, but camera resolution wasn't that good on a coax wire. That we are installing digital cameras, but still it was on a coax wire, so it was very grainy footage that you would have. And we didn't have systems like IP video, or smartphones wasn't even a thing back then. That if you wanted to look up the footage, you would have to go to the premise, and then you have to do a manually go through the recording.
So back then, for both residential commercial, it's the main reason is theft and breaking. That was
Yes,
the only reason they were coming for security systems.
100%. Yeah.
How about the technology needs? What were the technology needs of your clients when you started?
When we started, I think also the customers weren't actually that knowledgeable as well, because it was still something new to most people. Yes, the cameras existed, the alarm system existed way before that, but it was just not on everyone's mind at that time. Technology also changes now with the NVRs and digital cameras that we have. We can record people's license plate and color of the car, and there's just so many different analytics that we can put into it. Back then, that none of that was even existed, and I don't think we could have even thought about that in the future, that would we would be doing that.
Let's stay on the part that I picked up when you say that customers by then they weren't that knowledgeable. They weren't aware of so many things in the security industry. So if we are in that part, I would probably say from this perspective. So that means clients were leaving to you to deal with everything. But now they're more knowledgeable. Are they more like hands-on? They want to be involved to everything? Because by then I don't think they were that much involved. Or how was it, that part?
So now in this digital era, everybody has access to smartphone or computer, so they can search up any information that they require. If even when we send out our quotations to customers, sometimes customers are actually looking up the part numbers and asking us, oh, whether this camera will work with this NVR or not, right? So customers have a lot more knowledge available now. Um, and back then there was no smartphones, so people just didn't have that kind of knowledge available, right?
So they were just calling, this is what I need, just do it, whatever it is needs to be done. I have no idea. I just want to have the security cameras.
That's right. And I think back then, as a security industry professionals, we w- we we only rely on our suppliers. We weren't really doing our own research or coming up with the new ideas. Now I find even our technicians, they have such a vast knowledge space that they are actually coming up with the new ideas or new different kind of technologies that they can make it work together and plug in different systems into different technologies, right?
Yeah, so it's not just the clients, even internally, technicians became a lot more hands on, not just doing the operation, but actually building those ideas, searching up and coming up with the new systems. So we're going to stay a little bit on the clients part still in this subject. Do you have any clients from that early years that you're still providing till today? Have their requests and needs changed over the years? How you are serving, if you have any of those clients?
Yes, there's a recent one that I actually, they were my clients back when I believe in 2007, they became a covert securities client. They are still with us, so we had to upgrade our basic security panel and bring them into the digital era. So back then, if we wanted to monitor someone's alarm, we would have to have a landline. Now, as you know, landlines are becoming scarce in this era because everybody uses their cell phone. So they also wanted to cancel their telephone line because they just had it in their had it to monitor the alarm. So recently, we just upgraded their whole security system into a Ajax system, and then did everything over the internet. So now they're saving money on their telephone line, which they weren't using, and they are modernized. And now with the app, she knows when her kids are coming home from school. She can turn on and off the alarm system remotely, and it's a different era.
So mainly they switch from the basic security alarm system to a more modernized and fully integrated one app solution security camera and alarm system, which controls their home and overall, which is like, can we call that like full smart home automation in the scenario?
No, it's not a full smart home automation because they only have the alarm system installed at their place. They don't have any camera surveillance system or intercom system in there. So it's not a fully integrated system, but it is moving in that direction.
So this was a client almost 20 years ago, if we are talking like 18,
17,
19.
18 years, yeah.
Yeah, so did they require something different? What kind of a chat that it went through? Like how did you install by then and what you're doing now?
So the conversation started because they didn't want to have a phone line anymore, but they did want to have the monitoring alarm system. I think we had this talk probably 7, 8 years ago as well, but that time the options weren't. There were options, but they were more expensive options at that time. So now, after 7, 8 years, it's much easier um, to convince that client, and as a business professional, it's much more readily available for us that we know, okay, if she cancels her phone line, we have so many other options that we can monitor her system. And we wanted to modernize her system as well because she's been a good loyal client to us, right, all these years.
And that is great. That's great to have your one of the first clients till today. And that's also in realization showing the huge difference in industry that came.
Yeah.
Let's go back a little bit earlier than when you actually started in the industry as owner, or like before than core security. Your career from way before when you started your security journey studying at BCIT. And now that you have been in industry for so long, if you are to review back then, your education adequately prepare you for the industry, or do you think did you miss anything?
Interesting question. Um, I think BCIT just lays the foundation, but everything else comes after that. Um, when you're in the class, yes, they taught us how to install the systems and how to program the system, but there was really no real uh, work experience that we got. Yes, we got. I believe we were we had the job experience. Like we would have to go do a practicum for 4 weeks, but that's when really the real world knowledge that you get when you go sign up with a company and you're going to different job sites, and that's a total different knowledge base that you get. But definitely BCIT sets up a foundation. You know where you're looking, uh, whether you like the parts that you're working with or not, right?
So did you struggle a little bit after the whole technical
Yes,
education?
so definitely when I first started working, it was it was a challenge for few years, I would say, because one, yes, I had the technical knowledge of how to install one particular kind of systems, but there were so many different products were available that I had no idea that they existed. So it was you go to a job site, you try to figure it out, read a manual, and sometimes the manual wasn't available. Then you had to call your colleagues that were in the industry for a very long time. I remember one of my colleague, he was probably in his 40s back then, and I was just a young lad starting out. I would call him almost every few hours.
Oh
And
my
he was
god.
getting really annoyed because I didn't want to make a mistake. I didn't want to open up a panel and, you know, destroy the panel per se. But so it was fun times, but that's how you I think you get the most out of your brain when you're dealing with all these um, situations that can come up, and I don't think any book can give you those lessons.
Was it the same for other classmates that you had by then? They had the same struggle after school?
We were all kind of on the same boat, but there was some people that were a little bit older than us, or so they had more life experience, or they had a different background into IT management or in the telephone industry. So they had a little bit more knowledge than us. So it was easier for them per se. But anybody starting out from scratch, like right after high school, going to BCIT, it definitely takes a little bit toll on you.
So, what would you say it would be great to learn in the school before heading to the full operations full site that you wish you knew and they taught you then?
100%. I think um, even today, BCIT program is a great program. We get a lot of graduates that come out and do a practicum with us, and we make sure um, that we take on these new students and try to teach them different job sites, how the work environment is, and what they can expect day to day. And it's not for everybody that everybody wants to work in the construction industry. Sometimes we get a students that come out of there. Yes, they did the technical program, but they don't want to be working in the construction. They rather work from the office. So
But the program is
it's
for
more
technicians
it is
necessarily.
for
So,
technicians. It's more technical for sure, but not everybody wants to work in the construction industry or deal with the weather, right? So they much or sometimes people actually have constraints, like they can't lift the ladders, or they don't like to climb on the ladders, or their back isn't supporting them, so they it's much easier to work from the office, right? And we need people like that, that has the technical background, so they can be, our PMs that have the technical knowledge, so they know when or what parts they require, right?
Mhm. This was actually our coming question. That's I was going to ask if you were working with interns that is coming from BCIT. And let's follow that question then. How is their knowledge base compared to when you were there?
I think a lot more now. These guys are a lot more knowledgeable and more techy, because they have all the tools available to them. Back then, we didn't have any tools available to us. So, whatever our teacher, Mike and Pete from BCIT, if they're listening, big shout out to these guys. We were relying upon their knowledge at that time, right?
For sure, a lot changed in the education history. Even like we are touching base to security, but the knowledge and the tools that is available is a lot more for sure today. And again, it is still important the teacher's knowledge that is giving the students, as you say, that it might be a huge struggle that you will be keep calling someone in your first days to get through a job. What lesson do you try to imbue in them in their time as an intern?
Well, our security industry is evolving every day, and you you have to do your research. You have to. You can't rely on one form of information anymore. So, if you are an intern listening to this podcast, um, yes, BCIT or Kwantlen College has started this program as well. So, yes, they will set up a foundation, but you have a long way to go. You have to do your due diligence, and keep yourself up to date.
And we can tell them that Cover Security Solutions is open to these new interns and providing them the experience in real life.
Yes, definitely. And we make sure, actually, not only we just take them on so they come in and work with us for a month, we try to make sure that we give them a different parts of the job. And we will have them working out in our warehouse. We'll have them in a residential, into a commercial, small commercial, big commercial. So we try to give them a taste of every different kind of aspect that they can work on. Um, and truthfully, I think that's what every security company should be doing for their intern. So then the intern knows when they're applying for a job at a later date, they know which company to go for, or whether they want to be working in a residential or in a commercial industry, right?
So you give this compact 1 month of experience and provide it in all parts in different pieces so they
Yes.
can decide where to navigate next or stay, and what is the also option if they want to stay with Coward.
100%. Yeah.
It's now nearly 20 years since you found Coward. Uh, the major changes, if you are getting into, let's go through with security cameras. Has their implementation changed? Are they more popular now?
Yes, in 20 years, definitely the cost of the cameras have come down as well, and they're just a lot more smarter cameras available nowadays. Back in the day when we did install these digital cameras, but because of the coax wire, the footage wasn't that clean. It was very, very grainy. Nowadays, with the network wires, network cameras, NVRs, the footage is much more accessible and much more clean look to them. You can actually see who the person is. Back in the day, you couldn't. There's no way that you could see that. Didn't matter if it was daylight or nighttime. It was always a grainy picture.
So let's move forward of these changes. What do you think is the most surprising change has been in the security industry for you?
Surprising changes how just the industry itself is adapting to it. That's been uh, that's been actually very fruitful for our business, because now, fast forward to today, 2025, it's we don't really need to convince our customers. Our customers are coming to us. They already have a problem that we just need to solve it for them. That's the biggest change. Before, back then, we would almost had to convince our customers that they don't need a guard service. They need a electronic security, right? But back then, man security was a lot more popular than the technology security. As we talked earlier in the opening, that it's man light but heavy tech security industry.
Awareness is majorly a lot more now. So that makes your job a lot easier because I guess back then you had to explain every little thing why and when, and still digital things are not quite the things that people get used specifically in the residential part, right? More like commercial people still has these liabilities and proofs they need to show through things because of business expenses and other parts, but residential being the huge difference, I guess.
Yes.
And commercial, was it the same scenario?
Commercial, it's a lot more different now because now commercial clients, privacy rules are very, very important to them. Cybersecurity is important. So our security industry is merging into a cybersecurity as well. Not only we're providing the physical security, also the cybersecurity as well. Part of it, it will become part of it. It's not quite there yet, but in the coming years, it will definitely become part of it.
I was actually thinking to swapping through expectations now. Since we are there, let's continue from it. So, has their expectations of you changed? Have their priorities changed? If so, what are their focuses now from the business owner, from security business now?
In a big commercial, yes, definitely. The expectations are a lot higher now that uh, customers, all our customers, they want to have the camera surveillance, access control, and alarm system all kind of in a one platform. Nobody wants to have a different standalone system anymore. It all has to be within an integration. So when we're monitoring the alarm system, we are also monitoring their fire system. We're also monitoring their camera surveillance system and also monitoring their access control, who has the access. And as the technology changes, yes, it will make our lives a lot easier as well because in the future, it's when the access control will do the retina scan or it will do a behavioral analysis on a person, then it will provide the entry to the person to the building, correct?
Yeah, so I'm hearing like all in one package, all in one access, more control,
Yes.
a lot more access, a lot more security for everything.
Yes, it's a lot more integration. Definitely, like if buildings under a cyber attack, I think our customers expect that we lock down the building and treat it as a real threat nowadays, right?
Oh yeah, that's becoming a lot more now
Yes.
with this new technology improvements and accesses. So security companies will be challenged by it, do you think?
Not so much challenge, but we have a lot of work ahead of us that, and then we will have to have cybersecurity specialist on our team. Where right now most of the companies um, don't we only deal with the physical security aspect of protecting the property and personal lives. We're not so much into the network engineering part of it. In the future years, I can see that all becoming a one part of under one umbrella.
Do you think this will be something like a new era? You mentioned that happened back in 2005 that some companies became just smaller because they could not provide it. They didn't have enough to provide it. So it will eliminate, and the companies that are ready will just get growing and get bigger, but some of them will just stay behind and just get smaller.
Yes, 100%. It will definitely be uh, definitely be a change, especially on a monitoring side or aspect of it. Eh, Only humans will be interacting in a complex situations. The machines or AI will be doing most of the work for the monitoring stations. So the industry will evolve definitely. and it will be faster than ever.
So the security companies should be ready, or they will
Security
just.
companies definitely should be ready, and as a business owners, we should be ready as well. What's coming down in the pipeline, because before you know it, either we will have to adapt to all these changes, or we will be lagging behind it and out of the industry very quickly.
We already started the conversation here. We can see where we are moving. We already say that in the future, that's what is coming for security businesses, business owners. Let's give a clear question for you here. Where do you want cover security to be 10 years from now?
In 2035, we um, expect to keep growing. Hopefully, our footprint is a lot larger than what it is today. We're basically focused on the lower mainland. We have started doing some jobs out in Alberta, but we will definitely have a bigger footprint. As far as the technology side, uh, every day we're learning new things, and we're adding a new staff members to our team. We have our own IT guys, IT department that we never had, and we could have never thought about it before. Now in 2025, we have IT department that Charles is leading the way on that. So it's changing definitely. In 10 years, if the industry is ready to adapt, make us cybersecurity a part of the physical security, then definitely we will have a team that's focused on this, more merge into the cybersecurity aspect of it.
If we are making a checklist here, so I would say extended locations as serving, extending the more like maybe one day Canada wide, but now BC and Alberta, I believe, for in 10 years. Then extended services and focused more secure, more implemented to the modernized world with the IT department plus the cybersecurity edition coming for core security in 10 years, I guess.
Yes. And I think it will be here before 10 years. The way the technology is changing, I can see it within the next couple of years. Cybersecurity will be the hot topic. It's already is, but I think it will be more popular than ever.
So let's continue from there then. So you mentioned about your expectation from industry. What more are the expectations you're seeing that will happen in the industry?
Well, I think on the compliance side, our government, or just as a security association, we need a tougher laws built around who can be part of it, because it's a lot more data that people can get hands on it. You don't want one bad apple uh, to screw up the whole industry as a whole. So definitely compliance will need to be changing, or should be changed. CANASA is a great organization throughout Canada that we are happy to be part of it. They're doing a great job hosting seminars and doing get-togethers. So anybody that's involved in the security industry is getting to know the first-hand knowledge.
So the major changes definitely government regulations and compliance. That's the major one will be.
Yes, with the data privacy, it's also becoming a lot more prudent than ever before, because now we basically have all of our lives and all of our property access, everything is online. So data privacy is definitely is a challenge.
So data privacy is from clients' perspective of priority.
Clients, and from as a business owner as well.
So what more the other changes in the expectations for the clients you're seeing?
I think
it is changing.
As residential clients, I think a lot more new technology, new integration will be taking place in the people. They would most people will have their cameras and the security alarm system and their computers integrated in under one system.
In BC, is there any specific regulations coming up, or do you think that it strictly will be coming from the technology development part, or maybe from cameras? It can be about data privacy again. If we are talking more about these regulations, what would they be more different than what is today? Because you're saying today is already very restricted. So in the coming years, what more will be adding up to these restrictions?
Definitely, there will be more restrictions on the data because now we are moving everything onto the cloud space. So it's not before our regulations are mostly about recording all the data at premise. Now, as the cloud is becoming more popular and everything is moving into a cloud, then that totally gives it a different dimension to it. So definitely there will be a lot more changes coming from the government side and from our security industry to protect the data.
Yeah, from government regulation, we got that. Also, I remember previously we talked about this UL certifications. So any certifications for any security businesses, it will also get restricted and it's going to get harder.
Yes, UL certification, as we just went through the process ourselves, it's a lot more tougher than it was 5 years ago. And the inspector that was inspecting that he mentioned that there's a lot more privacy focus on it, and also the cyber attack focus on actually monitoring stations now. So yes, the industry is changing, the clients are changing, and the technology is changing very, very fast.
So I think we kind of, from three big points, we covered this topic and the changing industry. We got client's point, we got the security company point of the WIP, and the regulations through government certifications and restrictions. Do you want to add up anything to this?
In next 5 to 10 years, I think AI will take over a lot more. It will. It wouldn't just our cameras wouldn't just only be after the fact. It will predict the scenarios, and it will stop the crime before it's happening. The drones and robots will be doing the patrols on site, and humans will be only supervising the technology. And our cybersecurity and physical will become part of a one team under one umbrella. I can for sure predict that. And access control will have no keys, no cards. It will be strictly based on a behavioral analysis done on a human being.
There's so much going on in this already. Behavioral analysis already within implementations for some companies. Plus, I guess more like in US, if we are to, I've been seeing so much around about this robots and drone security in the streets, but it's not as much in here in BC.
No, not yet, but it's just a matter of time. Once the US market opens up and they tested it out, then Canada will follow along.
And security businesses will be purchasing this new ones as well, as in robots and drones will be including in the services?
Well, I can see that happening because as we know, the drones are already started to do deliveries, and I think it will happen before we know it. On the last thought, the security won't just protect anymore. It will drive the business intelligence. Business owners will use this data to provide access, to be in compliance with safety, and potentially drive business profit. I would like to start the conversation with the security professionals about the changes that are coming in the pipeline. Do you agree with the trends that we have shared today? Did we miss anything? Please drop us a line. If there's any interns listening to this episode and you're looking for work experience, please reach out to Covert Security or reach out directly to me and I will connect you with the right person. If you like this episode and you got a valuable knowledge out of it, please subscribe to our channel and share it with your network. Until next time, stay secure and keep your business growing. See you in the next episode. Until next time, stay secure and keep your business growing. See you in the next episode. Forgot to say.